So what do you see out of Kansas so far?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, hard to have more respect for a program, a coach, and then got won 14 straight league titles, right? And so you know how good they've been over time. They've had their moments this year. They've had their challenges, and at the same time, we know that we expect for them to be at their best. We know that they have an opportunity now to come back and be on their home court. And so we'll aim to be at our best because we have a lot of respect for them and respect for their program, and now know that they're going to be at their best.
The number of high caliber games they play out of conference every year, and I know they lost a good chunk of them this year, but just you guys have too, and you've won yours. But I mean, just how valuable is that as they go through a little bit of a rough patch? They can go back and, hey, we've been battle tested, even though we haven't come out on top all the time.
Yeah, no, I think for them, they play those games every year. Their program's in a position where those type of opportunities present themselves, and they've always taken on the challenge. We saw them win 3 straight games in the tournament in Vegas, and we know how good they are. So I think for any team, when you have those experiences through the season that you can look back and call upon, that should give you a sense of confidence of what you can do and what you can accomplish. And we'll expect for them to have that based on what we've seen them do.
You talked before the game at Purdue about it being an opportunity to prepare your team for road games in the Big 12. Is this the best comparison for that, going out into the house and playing a Kansas team in their home gym?
I mean, the thing that you hear over and over when you talk about the most challenging places to play, Fog Allen being one of them, Mackey Arena being one of them. So if you draw that connection to both of them, have tremendous teams, coaches, programs. Both of them have fan bases that are that show up and great home court advantages. And both, you need to get to the next play and have a mindset and mentality of we're not going to allow them to go on a run, because we're going to stay in the moment. We're going to get to the next thing. And I think if you don't, both spots, they can put up points in a hurry. So we got to do a great job controlling what we can control, making sure that regardless of what happens to us, we get to that next play and have that mindset and mentality.
The foul trouble that you guys have had, does it feel like there's an adjustment you need to make, that it's been situational, or that it's too early to tell between the two?
I think teams are certainly, when you get into Big 12, there's going to be a higher degree of physicality. And, for whatever reason, in the first game against West Virginia, we only have 1 foul in the first half, and that was a very physical game. And the other 2, we had significant foul issues. So I don't know that it's as much an adjustment in terms of scheme. I think what we need to do is a great job guarding the basketball, squaring the basketball, and keeping the ball in front of us. And when we do that, we stay out of rotation, we stay out of foul situation. So I think that's going to be something that's really important in this game, is the transition defense, so that you don't pick up fouls there, the rotation defense, and then when you stay out of rotations, you stay in better rebounding positions, so you don't tend to get fouls there. So I don't think it's anything that we're concerned with, and in fact, we expect these games to be more physical. We expect the teams to ramp up the physicality on the other side of it, and we'll do the same.
Is that, I don't know if adjustment, the way you guys played in the second half on Saturday? I mean, I think there 5 or 6 of their free throws came in the last 90 seconds, but otherwise you guys kept them off the line.
I think when you're the more physical team and the more aggressive team, you have a tendency to foul less. When teams, I think when you're back on your heels, when you're worried about their guards beating you downhill, so you're a step off or a step back, that's when they bring the contact to you, and you tend to foul. And specifically last game, it was when they got downhill and it was towards the rim. We weren't as disciplined as we need to be to have a jump ball and show our hands, or as a secondary defender to make sure that we're in great position. So we fouled guys as they were getting downhill. So I think overall, really for us, so much of it comes back to squaring the ball, guarding the dribble, keeping the ball in the paint regardless, and then just understanding, from game to game. I think if you're the more physical team, there's a tendency for you to have less fouls, as much as that sounds like it should be the opposite.
What challenges does Darryn Peterson present as a player?
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing, dynamic scorer, playmaker. I mean, he shoots it so well, gets in the paint at will, makes such hard shots. A competitor. I mean, he's a guy that even when you watch on the summer circuit and you see him play, a lot of guys that have his acclaim, draw a crowd. But when he drew a crowd, it was for people talking about, the integrity. He played with the toughness, how hard he played every possession. He's a winner. He rebounds as a guard. He defends. And so just a lot of respect for his game, his talent, his ability, and know that even in the realm of all these really good players, he's somebody that separated himself by how he's always done this and how he's gone about it.
How much pride do you think Killian takes in potentially taking that matchup with how much pride he takes on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean he's done a great job against some guys that are some of the better guards in the country for sure. Yet at the same time, it's never for us about a singular matchup or one-on-one. It's a team defense, and because of transition, which they're elite, and because of the switchability that we have, matchups change. Things change all the time throughout the course of the game. So I know that it's great that Killian does take that tremendous sense of pride in what he does do defensively and how he guards. And at the same time, our team defense, is wants to be in position where it's 5 guys all together that are connected doing that job.
In a couple of hours, you could be ranked second. Do you even address that with your team, or do you ignore it? How do you handle it?
Yeah, no, I don't really know what that has to do with anything at this point. Like, unless they're going to put us in the Final Four or something like that, which I don't think will be the case. It really doesn't matter. So right now, the aim and the goal is to continue to stay together, keep our focus, stay healthy, and keep getting better. I think the teams that get better at this time of the year put themselves in the position at the end of the year where you feel good about the opportunities in front of you. So right now, wherever you're ranked right now, nobody's going to remember and nobody cares. We certainly don't. So the mission is to get better.
What do you think is behind the recent slow starts in these last couple of games? And is there a noticeable pattern you feel like you guys can diagnose?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say slow starts as much as I think like we're playing good teams and good coaches, and they have a prepared scheme, and they have a way of doing things to come in and build their team's confidence, and people keep talking about getting best shots and things along those lines. So I guess if the worst thing you can say based on where we're at right now is that there's been some slow starts, I would say I would look at it more from the other part of our guys have done a great job in the midst of the game when the game settles in, adjusting, adapting, knowing what they need to do, and then being terrific at taking those adjustments and incorporating those things after halftime, and then really imposing our will and our identity. But it would only be natural for us to expect that every team's going to come out with tremendous confidence, a tremendous plan, a well-coached plan, and and have a chance to execute that. And if it goes well, certainly we have to keep fighting back, and our guys have done that job.
To say about your guys that you are able to find and execute those adjustments rather than you maybe had teams in the past where you're going to just try to be better at the thing they're trying to take away from you?
Yeah, I think our guys right now, I think them being connected is important because no matter what your scheme, there's an effort and then a connectedness that has to happen for any of that to work. So I think that's something that really is important. I also think our guys are intelligent group. They're a group that can take information and utilize it to make the game go their way. And then I think third, there's a sense of pride there. Guys that have been in our program, guys that care about our team, guys that care about, playing for Iowa State, that, they know that it's important to be at your best and to learn from things. And I think, people oftentimes talk about like learning from, learning in a loss or learning through adversity. And, the great thing about our group to this point has been we've been able to continue to stay on the winning track and learn throughout the games and learn through experiences in the games to be better without having to be at deficit and taking a loss.
The team's been so good at coming out of the locker room this season in the second half. What's the biggest change at halftime? Is it schematic? Is it motivation? Or is it more just getting 20 minutes of rest?
Yeah, I think it comes more down to our guys having that opportunity to reconnect in the locker room and know what just happened in the game, and that they're elite problem solvers. They're a group together that they can solve the problems, they can figure out the issues. And so we welcome their feedback, the things they're seeing and feeling at halftime. I don't think there's like these dramatic schematic changes as much as let's really put a tremendous focus on who we are and what we do. And if you've seen anything, there's a common trend of we usually generate turnovers early in the second half that lead to points. We get those points, we separate. There seems to be an offensive rebound somewhere in there early in the second half that helps our offense push through, and then, just a defensive intent. So I don't know. It's not as much X's and O's. It's certainly not anything I'm saying or some motivational speech. It's a credit to our guys and understanding the game, understanding our strengths, our identity, and what we need to do to be successful.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.